Stark, Coyote Stark, you know, he was, number one spotter. See, this guy was so powerful that and he was alone too. He killed everybody he was around. Just like his mere existence killed them. Because, like, he could spam, you know, Ceros just like nothing. Like, he doesn't even have to put his hand up. He can just shoot one out. And then Lil Annette came off of him, and he was like, "Who are you?" And she's like, "I'm Lil Annette." And then they became, partners and shit. Like, that's his Fraccione, but it's also a part of his Resurrection. And then they become one again when he, uses, his Resurrection, Los Lobos. And that, when he did that, he was fighting against Captain Kurako and Ukitake and Rose and Lavakawa came in there too. and they were trying to do some shit while Kyoraku was trying to cook up a plan for himself to defeat this guy, right? But they ended up failing or whatever. He ended up almost packing them in completely, but he was able to sneak up on him because that's how Shunsui works. He likes to play games in the shadows and shit. Kage Oni, Taka Oni, what's that? Bashoguma, the wind attacks. Ukitake was there to, reflect his Metrietta back in him when he shoots like hundreds of Cero blasts out of his gun. Boom, 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 boom. And then he, sucks him in. And that's Ukitake that I'm talking about. And then, he ended up getting defeated. He was playing a game where he called out colors and he said Oni gray. He said Oni black. And it hit him in the chest like, and he ended up, being defeated. He was caught off guard and other things. He thought and it was because he was in his head because Lil Annette was like not talking to him anymore. And he was all alone again. And he was like, oh, fuck, she's gone. It kind of threw him off. But his strength is at 89% with a 93 for his speed and a 90 for his durability. 93 for his endurance, and then an 86 for his intelligence, and 85 for his experience. 85 for his close skills, and then 96 for his range skills. 89 for his recoup, and then 89 for his hacks. So his overall power score is a 90, 89.5. Only two Aspires were more powerful than him, if you ask me. That would be Ukiura and Yami. But he lost because he lost his other half. And then he was just like, damn, where is she? And then, Shunsui came up and like snook attacked him when he was like, in a daze because he was like, where's she at? I can't hear her voice anymore. But that was Coyote Stark. Be cool, Call in the Corner.